speaking only in English. I hope you enjoy. For today's video, I'm going to be reading a book for you guys. I'm going to be reading the first chapter of this book. Let me grab it for you. This book is called Warm Bodies. So, this book became a movie, and it was written by Isaac Mellion. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I'm going to read the first chapter for you guys. Ready? I'm dead, but it's not so bad. I've learned to live with it. I'm sorry I can't properly introduce myself, but I don't have a name anymore. Hardly any of us do. We lose them like car keys, forget them like anniversaries. Mine might have started with an R, but that's all I have now. It's funny because back when I was alive, I was always forgetting other people's names. My friend M says the irony of being a zombie is that everything is funny, but you can't smile because your lips have rotted off. None of us are particularly attractive, but death has been kinder to me than some. I'm still in the early stages of decay. Just the grey skin, the unpleasant smell, the dark circles under my eyes. I could almost pass for a living man in a need of vacation. Before I became a zombie, I must have been a businessman, a banker or broker, or some young temp learning the ropes, because I'm wearing very nice clothes, black slacks, grey shirt, red tie. Makes fun of me sometimes. He points at my tie and tries to laugh. He joked, gurgling rumble tipping his gut. His clothes are holey jeans and a plain white t-shirt. The shirt is looking pretty macabre now. He should have picked a darker color. We like to joke and speculate about our clothes since these final fashion choices are the only indication of who we were before we become no one. Some are less obvious than mine. Shorts and a sweater, shirt, skirt and a blouse. So we classes. You were a waitress. You were a student. Ring any bells? It never does. No one I know has any specific memories, just a vague vestigial knowledge of a road long gone, faint impressions of past lives that linger like phantom limbs. We recognize civilization, buildings, cars, a general overview, but we have no personal role in it, no history. We are just here. We do what we do, time passes and no one asks questions. But like I've said, it's not so bad. We may be mindless, but we aren't. The heuristic clocks of conscience still spin, just gear down and down till the outer motion is barely visible. We grunt and groan, we shrug and nod, and sometimes a few words slip out. It's not that different from before. It's funny I didn't remember that. But it does make me sad that we've forgotten our names. Out of everything, this seems to be the most tragic. I miss my own and I mourn for everyone else's because I'd like to love them, but I don't know who they are. There are hundreds of us living in an abandoned airport outside some large city. We don't need shelter or warmth, obviously, but we like having the walls and roofs over our heads. Otherwise, we'd just be wandering in an open field of dust somewhere, and that would be strangely horrific. To have something at all around us, nothing to touch or look at, no headlines whatsoever, just us and the gaping maw of the sky. I imagine that's what being full dead is like. An emptiness vast and absolute. I think we've been here a long time. I still have all my flesh. But there are elders who are little more than skeletons with clinging bits of muscle. Somehow it still extends and contracts and they keep moving. I have never seen any of us die of old age. Maybe we live forever, I don't know. The future is as blurry to me as the past. I can't seem to make myself care about anything to the right or left of the present. And the present isn't exactly urgent. You might say that has relaxed me. Relax, guy, relax. I am riding the escalators when Anne finds me. I ride the escalators several times a day. Whenever they move, it's become a ritual. The airport is derelict. I don't know that word. I don't recognize it. But the power still flickers on sometimes, maybe flowing from emergency generators stuttering deep underground. Lights flash and screens blink, machines jolt into motion. I cherish these moments, the feeling of things coming to life. I stand on these steps and ascend like a soul into heaven. This suckery dream of our childhood now, a tasteless joke. After maybe 30 repetitions, I rise to find Amy waiting for slides into view as I crest the staircase summit. Is the angel that greets me at the gates. His wretched mouth is oozing black drool. He points in a vague direction and grunts, "City, city, 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 city." I nod and follow him. We are going out to find food. A hunting party forms around us as we shuffle towards town. It's not hard to find recruits for these expeditions, even if no one is hungry. Fox, though, is a rare occurrence here, and we all follow it when it manifests. Otherwise, we'd just be standing around and groaning all day. We do a lot of standing around and groaning. Those yellow marks here are words that I didn't know back when I read this book for the first time. Years pass this way, the flesh withers on our bones, and we stand here waiting for it to go. I often wonder how old I am. The city where we do our hunting is conventionally closed. We arrived around noon the next day and started looking for flesh. The new hunger is a strange feeling. We don't feel it in our stomachs. Some of us don't even have those. We feel it everywhere equally. A sinking, sagging sensation, as if our cells are deflating. Last winter, when so many living joined the dead and our prey becomes scarce, I watched some of my friends become full dead. The transition was undramatic. They just slowed it down, then stopped, and after a while I realized they were corpses. Rusted cars clog the streets, most glass is shattered, and the wind drifting through the hollow high-rises moans like an animal left to die. I don't know what happened. Disease, war, social collapse, or was it just us, the dead, replacing the living? I guess it's not so important. Once you've arrived at the end of the world, it hardly matters which road you took. Road, I don't know. Sorry if you can't understand what I am reading. I hope you are at least relaxing. We start to smell the living as we approach a dilapidated apartment building. I'm not sure if I said that correctly. Anyway, the smell is not the musk of sweat and skin, but the effervescence of life energy, like the ionized tank of lightning and lavender. We don't smell it in our noses. It hits up deeper inside near our brains like wasabi. We converge on the building and crash our way inside. We find them huddled in a small studio unit with the windows boarded up. They are dressed worse than we are, wrapped in a filthy tatties and rags, all of them badly in need of a shave. M. besaddled with a short blonde beard for the rest of his fleshy existence, but everyone else in our party is clean shaven. It's one of the perks of of being dead. Another thing we don't have to worry about anymore. Beards, hair, toenails. No more fighting biology. Our wild bodies have finally been tamed. Slow and clumsy, but with unswerving commitment, we launch ourselves at the living. Shotgun blast fill the dust air with gunpowder and gore. Black blood spatters the walls, the loss of an arm, a leg, a portion of torso, disease disregarded, shrugged off. A minor cosmetic issue, but some of us take shots to our brains and we drop. Apparently, there's still something of value in that leather gray sponge, because if we lose it, we are corpses. The zombies to my left and right hit the ground with most thuds, but there are plenty of us. We are overwhelming. We sat upon the living and we eat. So delicious. Eating is not a pleasant business. I show off a man's arm and I hate it. I hate his screams because I don't like pain. I don't like hurting people, but this is the world now. This is what we do. Of course, if I don't eat all of him, if I spare his brain, he'll rise up and follow me back to the airport, and that might make me feel better. I'll introduce him to everyone, and maybe we'll stand around and ground for a while. It's hard to say what friends are anymore, but they might be close if I restrain myself, if I live enough. But I don't. I can't. As always, I go straight for the good part, the part that makes my head light up like a picture tube. I ate. I eat the brain, and for about 30 seconds I have memories, flashes of parades, perfume, music, life. Then it fades, and I get up, and we all stumble out of the city, still cold and grey, but feeling a little better. Not good exactly, not happy, certainly not alive, but a little less dead. This is the best we can do. I trail behind the group as the city disappears behind us. My steps plod a little heavier than the others when I pause at a rain-filled pothole to scrub gore off my face and clothes. Em drops back and slaps a hand on my shoulder. He knows my distaste for some of our routines. He knows I'm a little more sensitive than most. Sometimes he teases me, twirls my messy black hair into pigtails and says, "Girl, sut, girl." But he knows when to take my cologne seriously. He pats my shoulder and just looks at me. His face isn't capable of much expressive nuance anymore, but I know what he means. I don't know why you have to kill people. I don't know what showing through a man's neck accomplishes. I still want he has to replace what I like. He disappears and I stay. It's simple but senseless. Arbitrary laws from some lunatic legislator in the sky. But following those laws keeps me walking, so I follow them to the letter. I eat until I stop eating, then I eat again. How did this start? How did we become what we are? Was it some mysterious virus, gamma rays, amnesian course? or something even more absurd. No one talks about it much. We are here and this is the way it is. We don't complain. We don't ask questions. We go about our business. There is a chance between me and the world outside of me. A gap so wide my feelings can't cross it. By the time my screams reach the other side, they have dwindled into groans. At the Rebels Gate, we are greeted by a small crowd watching us with hungry eyes or eye sockets. We drop our cargo on the floor to mostly intact men. I feel meaty legs and a dismembered torso, all still warm. Call it leftovers, call it takeout. Our fellow dead fall on them and feast right there on the floor like animals. The life remaining in those cells will keep them from full dying, but the dead who don't hunt will never quite be satisfied. Like men at sea, deprived of fresh fruit, they will wither in their deficiencies, weak and perpetually empty, because the new hunger is a lonely monster. He grimly accepts the brown meat and lukewarm blood, but what it craves is closeness, the grim sense of connection that causes between their eyes and ours in those final moments, like some dark negative of love. I wave to M and then break free from the crowd. I have long since become acclimatized to the dead's progressive stench, but the haze rising off them today feels especially fetid. Breathing is optional, but I need some air, and I need some water at this moment. Let me drink some water. We are almost done. Just a few more pages. Let's go. I wonder how into the connection highways and ride the conveyors. I stand on the belt and watch the scenery scroll by through the window wall. Not much to see. The runaways are turning green, overrun with grass and brush. Jets lie motionless on the concrete like pitched rails, white and monumental. Moby Dick conquered at least. Before, when I was alive, I could never have done this, standing still, watching the world pass by me, thinking about nearly nothing. I remember effort. I remember targets and deadlines, goals and ambitions. I remember being purposeful, always, everywhere, all the time. Now I'm just standing here on the conveyor along for the ride. I reach the end, turn around and go back to the other way. The world has been distilled. Being dead is easy. After a few hours. I notice a female on the opposite conveyor. She doesn't lunge or groan like most of us. Her hand just flows from side to side. I like that about her, that she doesn't lunge or groan. I catch her eye and stare at her as we approach. For a brief moment, we are side by side, only a few feet away. We pass, then travel onto opposite ends of the hall. We turn around and look at each other. We get back on the converse. We pass each other again. I grimace and she grimaces back. responds with a hunch of her shoulder. I like her. I reach out and touch her hair. Like me, her decomposition is at an early stage. Her skin is pale and her eyes are sunken, but she has no exposed bones or organs. Her races are in a especially light shade of the strange pewter grey or the Dutch share. Her grave clothes, a black skirt and a snug white blouse. I suspect she used to be a receptionist. Pinned to her chest is a silver name tag. She has a name. I stare at the tag, I leaning close, putting my face inches from her breasts, but it doesn't help. The letters spin and reverse my vision. I can't hold them down. As always, they elude me. Just a series of meaningless lines and plots. Another of M's undead ironies. From name tags to newspapers, the answers to our questions are reading all around us, and we don't know how to read. I point at the tag and look her in the eyes. Your name. She looks at me blankly. I point at myself and pronounce the remaining fragment of my own name. Then I point at her again. Her eyes drop to the floor. She shakes her head. She doesn't remember. She doesn't even have syllable one like M and I do. She is no one. But aren't I expecting too much? I reach out and take her hand. We walk off the converse with our arms stretched across the divider. This female and I have fallen in love. Oh, what's left of it. I remember what love was like before. There are complex emotional and biological factors at work. We had elaborate tests to pass, connections to forge, ups and downs and tears, and real wins. It was an ordeal. An exercise in agony, but it was alive. The new love is simply easier but small. So he was passing by the airport and he just bumped into this girl that was dead, and he was like, "Hey, what's your name?" And she was like, "I don't know my name." And he was like, "Okay, let's hold hands and be boyfriend and girlfriend." And that's it. That's simple like that. I wish real life was simple like that too. Anyway. My girlfriend doesn't talk much. We walk through the echoing corridors of the airport, occasionally passing someone staring out of a window or at a wall. I tried to think of things to say, but nothing came. And if something did come, I probably couldn't say it. This is my great obstacle, the biggest of all the boulders littering my path. In my mind, I am eloquent. I can climb intricate scaffolds of words to reach the highest cathedrals So far, my personal record is for rolling syllables before something, James, and that may be the most loquacious zombie in this effort. I don't know why we don't speak. I can't explain the suffocating silence that hangs over our world, cutting us off from each other like prison visit plexiglass. I don't know what's that. Prepositions are painful, articles are arduous, adjectives are wild, overachievements is this mutants a real physical handicap. One of the many symptoms of being dead, or do we just have nothing left to say? I attempt conversation with my girlfriend, testing out I feel awkward phrases and shallow questions, trying to get a reaction out of her. Any twitch of wit, but she just looks at me like I'm weird. We wander for a few hours directionless, then she grips my hand and starts leading me somewhere. We stumble our way down the halted escalators and out onto the tarmac. I sigh wearily. She's taking me to church. The dead have built a sanctuary on the runway. At some point in the distant past, someone pushed all the stairs tracks together into a circle, forming a kind of an amphitheater. We gather there. We stand here. We lift our arms and mourn. The ancient bunnies wave their skeletal limbs in this center cycle, rasping out rain. Watley's sermons through to fake rings. I don't understand what this is. I don't think any of us do. But it's the only time we really gather under the open sky, that vast cosmic mouth, distant mountains like death in the skull of God, yawning wide to devour us, to swallow us down to where we probably belong. My girlfriend appears much more devout than I do. She closes her eyes and waves her arms in a way that almost looks half-felt. I stand next to her and hold my hands in the air silently. At some unknown cue, maybe drawn by her fervor, the bunnies stop their preaching and stare at us. One of them comes forward, climbs our stairs and takes us both by the wrists. We are in the last pages of the first chapter. It leads us down into the circle and raises our hands in its clouded grip. It lets our kind of roar and unearthly sound like a blast of air through a broken hunting horn, shockingly loud, frightening birds out of trees. The congregation murmurs in response, and it's done. We are married. Just like that. It was the fastest relationship I've ever heard of. They just met, they gave each other's hands, and they run and mourn a little bit, and walk a little bit across the airport, and at the end of the day, they were married. Okay, that was fast anyway. We step back onto the stairs seats. The sofa's resumes. My new wife closes her eyes and waves her arms. The day after our wedding, we have children. That was fast. I mean, it's easy to be dead, so why not get married and have children? A small group of bunnies stop us in the hall and present them to us. A boy and a girl, both around 6 years old. The boy is curly blonde with grey skin and grey eyes, perhaps once Caucasian. The girl is darker with black hair and ashy brown skin, deeply shadowed around her steely eyes. She may have been Arab. The bunnies nudge them forward and they give us tentative smiles, hug our legs. I pat them on their heads, ask their names, but they don't have any. I sigh, and my wife and I keep walking hand in hand with our new children. I wasn't exactly expecting this. This is a big responsibility. The young dad don't have the natural feeding instincts the adults do. They have to be tended and trained, and they will never grow up. Stunted by our curse, they will stay small and rot, then become little skeletons, animate but empty, their brains rattling stiff in their skulls, repeating their routines and rituals until one day I can only assume the bones themselves will disintegrate, and they will just begun. Look at them. Watch them as my wife and I release their hands and they wander outside to play. They tease each other and grin. They play with things that aren't even toys. Staplers and mugs and calculators. They giggle and laugh, though it sounds choked through their dry throats. We've bleached their brains, robbed them of breath, but they still cling to the cliff edge. They resist our curse for as long as they possibly can. I watch them disappear into the pale daylight at the end of the hall. Deep inside me, in some dark and cobwebbed chamber, I feel something twitch. And that was the first chapter of One Buddies. I hope you liked this video. Please give it thumbs up and subscribe if you like this content. Most of my videos are in Portuguese, but some of them will be in English and some of them will be no talking videos so everyone can enjoy it. Thank you for passing by. See you soon, guys.